Well, here we are. This past week has been like nothing I've ever witnessed. So look, if things go wrong, things go wrong. Things have gone really wrong here in Los Angeles. I haven't seen anything like this in the last 2 decades. Entire neighborhoods gone in an instant. People's lives changed in an instant. Our premiere episode of Hot Mics with Billy Bush, presented by LA Gulf, in an instant. Hot Mics with Billy Bush. Great title. You know it. Okay, so this is Hot Mics with Billy Bush. I'm Billy Bush, and you can listen live exclusively on TuneIn every Monday and Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern and 2 p.m. Pacific. Not the debut we had planned, not just the technical difficulties, which will work out. That's life. We don't really care. But we were going to delve right into the name of the show, Hot Mics, with a sort of a dive into the historical events that led to the title of Hot Mics. Everyone I say, the name of the show is Hot Mics, they say, God, that's a great name. Why? I don't know, because my friend Ryan Holiday wrote the Daily Stoic, and his book, The Obstacle is the Way. Okay, so the Hot Mic, just in short, was the obstacle. It took me out of my job and my career and my family, my life. It just obliterated me in the October surprise of 2016. It was aimed at Donald Trump. It was supposed to take him out as a candidate. In the end, he sailed on to the presidency, as you know, and I got fired by NBC. So, you know, it silenced me, the Hot Mic. And now, 8 years later, it's kind of I really believe it's the delivery method for my true, authentic voice. We're going to go everywhere with a great sense of humor when we can. We were supposed to have Megyn Kelly today. We're going to do that on Wednesday. I love Megyn. She was on her show last week, and so we'll talk to her then. But we got to start where we are, and that is the devastating Los Angeles fires. So many structures, over 12,000 structures have gone down, up in flames, $50 billion worth of damage. I mean, what do you think? More than that? I mean, it's devastating. And on Tuesday, I went up to the Pacific Palisades and drove around with my crew. We did our show from there Wednesday, Extra, the television show, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Just devastating. Devastating. I mean, the people come to this coastal community of Pacific Palisades to you can't even get, from Palisades, you can't even get into Los Angeles. There's only one way to drive east, and that is Sunset Boulevard. So these people just go to stay, you know? And then Altadena and 8 different fires around so far. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Homes, businesses, holy mackerel. There's no way to know how much damage has been done. I had a first look at the devastation, just driving around.
Oh, my gosh, look at this area, completely devastated. Oh, my Lord. You gotta give me the turn so I can... Morro Bay Fire Department, here we go. Look at this. Look at this. This is the fanciest area in Los Angeles. Look at this one house. Look at this. Everything devastated to the left. Everything devastated to the right. Look at this guy's house. It's just standing there. Oh, look at all the house.
Yeah. This is just filmed in my car. It's like
the old Pacific Palisades Rec Center.
Yeah. When you drive around, that day, that was Wednesday, the first day that you could get in there, and there was still active flames everywhere, but it was block to block. That's what was so weird is that you'd look one way and it was completely destroyed the other way, and there's the street looks like nothing ever happened. Doesn't even have any smoke or stains on the side of the house. I have a lot of friends who live in the Palisades, and having access with my press credential, I had people sending me addresses saying, "Look, when you're done doing your show, can you check on my house, please?" So I had to drive around and report back to people, "You made it. You didn't. You made it. You didn't." I wrote around Ted McGinley. You know Ted McGinley from Shrinking? Known Ted for many, many years. He hit me up and he's like, "Hey, can you take me up when you go. And I couldn't tell him, Ted, I'm not going up. He said, please, I need to get up there. My wife is an artist in all of her paintings. We got to get some of her paintings out. And I said, okay. So I went up with Ted, and we went and got about 5 paintings of his wife's, and then he wanted to get an old car of his out. I was pushing Ted down the street in a 1960 Porsche convertible that he had in college or something. Anyway, it was just totally tragic. But the biggest sort of moment that caught me and put me in tears, I had to tell one of my best friends that his home was gone. I called him. Buddy, I'm going to send you a video. I just drove down Pampas Ricas.
Is the house gone?
What's that?
Is it gone?
Yeah.
Our house is gone.
There's one house that's not gone. It's in the middle. I don't know. It's not yours. I think yours is gone. Like gone. The whole neighborhood is absolutely devastated.
Like razed. Like it's just.
No. It's like a bomb went off. It's like a movie. It's like a terrible movie starring Jake Gyllenhaal. It's like awful. I'm so sorry, buddy. I love you. I'm so sorry. You've been through so much with that place.
Thanks.
I'll send you the video of your street if you want to see it, but it's like that's his house. You can just see.
That way we can just skip.
I know.
Survive.
You know. Yeah, I get something. Fire truck behind me. I got an ambulance. Something else. Like the same guy. You know, he had to go rent. Like everybody's whose homes got destroyed are renting. He ran into a situation where the guy he's renting from agreed on a price. They're about to sign. Comes back. And he's trying to goose it up. We'll talk a little more about that in a second, but because that's some of the stuff that's kind of going around. But I was telling you before about like when you look one direction and there's total devastation, then you look in a different direction and houses are okay. I went around this corner. Check this out. I roll this video if you can here. I went around this corner.
And only assume.
Look at this.
This man used flame retardant because he is alone.
Look at that house.
Standing amidst the devastation. How is it that this one house is completely untouched and the lights are on inside?
Yeah, then we go around the corner.
What? And his neighbor. Okay, 2 in a row. And that's it. Look, we'll go around the corner.
Isn't that crazy? So you just, like all of a sudden, there's 2 houses and they're in perfect condition. Not even a stain on them. And everything else looks like Beirut, Lebanon, 1982. Just, just absolutely and completely destroyed. And then I got up to this church. You're always looking for these moments. Like I don't know if you've seen anything on the internet, but there's these white crosses in Malibu where all the fires rage through, and the white crosses, the big giant white cross is there. Here's a church.
Palisades United Methodist. Oh man. And yet, one part of the structure that is still standing bears the cross.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's the entryway to United Methodist in Pacific Palisades Church. But look, there's going to be, people are mad. They're starting to fire away at all the things that are, the lack of leadership. Karen Bass, who is the mayor of Los Angeles, has taken an enormous amount of heat. As you know, she was there at the inauguration of the president of Ghana when all this went down. And, the National Weather Service gave a warning that this was coming our way on Saturday, and she left for her trip anyway. She's got a lot to answer for. You remember I'm sure you saw the footage of the reporter who's asking her questions. Do you have anything to say to your constituents? And she was gone. Her staff is trying to say she was working remotely. Look, she's given a couple of terrible press conferences. She's going to answer to that. There's over 100,000 signatures for her recall. I think when people get, they will get the amount of signatures that they need, and she will face recall. That's just the process. She knows that. She may survive it. She lost. The irony is she beat Rick Caruso, who ran for mayor against her, and the only thing standing in Pacific Palisades is Palisades Village. Caruso, a huge real estate developer in the area, and his Palisades village was covered in retardant and suffered no damage. Like, you could go shopping at Veronica Beard, buy a dress, or go to that extremely expensive Erewhon market and get whatever. It literally looks like nothing happened. And then we've got the real estate mongrels out there, okay? And I mentioned you before when I called my friend, my best friend's name's McG, and I said, G, your house went down. I'm so sorry. Then I told you he started shopping for his new place. He rented a place. They moved it up, the rent on him. Then they moved it again. Finally, he settled on the increased price. But I think there's a rule against that. Price gouging is kind of running rampant. The desperate homeowners looking for places to rent. Jason Oppenheim from the hit show Selling Sunset. He's joining us from his office right now. Jason, thank you so much. You do the real estate game better than anyone. Isn't that illegal to do to people?
It absolutely is illegal. So, and I appreciate you addressing it. There's a penal code, section 396, that's in place. And once the governor institutes an emergency order, and that is exactly what we are under, and I believe it lasts for at least another year, you cannot increase the cost of goods, and that includes housing and rental properties, above 10% of the fair market value. And fair market value is determined, pre-disaster, so before the fire. So exactly what your friend experienced, I'm having occur with many of my clients. And I'm trying to get a lot of attention to this because it is illegal. And your friend will have legal recourse. Even if he signed a lease, my guess is, he'll be able to seek that money back in the future.
It's like there's an angel and a devil that lives in every one of us, right, Jason? It's like, we're all wired for really good, amazing things, and we're all wired for a little evil. And I've had all kinds of people reach out to me and just say, hey, I think I want to rent my house. What do you think I can get for it? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, what do you say to those people? It's like, how about just a fair market value?
That's what you say to them. That's what you say to them. I've had probably 30 to 40 people reach out. I'd say I've had 5 in the last hour reach out about leasing their houses. Some selling, mostly leasing. And, some people are doing it for the right reasons because they want to increase supply and they want to, they're not using their properties. Maybe it's a second home and they want to, help out people. And others are trying to take advantage of this situation. And I encourage real estate agents to not to enable price gouging. I know that we are being asked by unfortunately by landlords to increase prices, and we absolutely can't participate in that. We need to make sure that we tell them that they have to list the property at what it was worth, a month ago.
Yeah, just be a good person. I mean, is that too much to ask? Like, just be a good person. Now, people are hearing about these communities. You know high-end real estate, you especially, but, tell me, the 2 biggest fires and the 2 biggest towns hit are Altadena and Pacific Palisades. Start with the Palisades. Like, this is, I mean, you look at what, I can't possibly think of a number that would accurately describe the billions of dollars of damage. Can you, what did you just do? Did you multiply? Oh my gosh, I'm seeing a picture. That's your brother. How you doing?
What's up, bro?
Tell people how expensive this real estate is. What do you think we're looking at as far as damage?
Hold on a second. I'm gonna let my brother take that, but I just jumped on because I wanted to make a quick point that there are, as you described, some real estate scoundrels emerging. But I would say that in the 25 years that I've been in LA, I don't remember a stronger sense of community and more people stepping up to the plate to do the right thing and go above and beyond for people. And I don't want that to be overshadowed by 50 or 100 people doing the wrong thing, because there are tens of thousands stepping up to the plate in a way that I've never seen before. So I just want to make sure that that's
good. Listen, the moments like this bring out your true character in all kinds of people, good and bad. I mean, listen, I was looking, the woman who does the sideline reporting for ESPN, Holly Rowe, like, Holly Rowe put out on Instagram, any family that needs my house, I've got a house here. It's like 9 bedrooms and sideline reporting, pretty good gig. Like multiple bedrooms in Salt Lake City. I'll even fly you and your family here to be in my. I mean, these people are everywhere. Jana Kramer, the country music singer and actress.
I love Jana. Yeah.
Yeah, Janice texted me and said, hey, anybody you know needs my house. I'm on location for the next 2 months. I've got a house in Nashville, Tennessee. It's for them. I'm like, geez, Jana, that's nice. Most people are like that. Let's not lose sight of that. But of course, there are the price gougers would be the least bad of the ones that we've seen out there. They're not, dressing up as firefighters and pretending to be firefighters and looting neighborhoods. You know what I mean?
Well, I will tell people, because I know Jana's house. I will tell people to take her up on that, because that's a pretty nice house.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, you're right. Difficult times are when I think you realize who people really are. And I give some of these landlords the benefit of the doubt that they didn't even know better. They didn't know that there were price gouging rules. They were just thought that there was a supply-demand imbalance. But no more excuses. I think at this point, I think everyone should know that it's illegal.
Is it
and then in
$7
terms of the
billion?
damage,
How is it? $7 billion, $8 billion for real estate in Pacific Palisades, and then tell me about Altadena. Do you have a good number for those, or like an idea?
it's so hard to say. It's so hard to say. I don't know Altadena as well as I know the Palisades, but it's tens of billions. But it's not even the amount of money. I mean, it gets so nuanced. I mean, you've got older people that grew up in the Palisades. I've got clients that we sold a lot of these houses, and they're not going to spend 3 years of their life rebuilding. These are dentists or nurses. They're not contractors. They have no business building a house, nor should they be. So what are they going to do? I mean, they have to sell their land. We have to make sure they get fair prices from developers. But this is going to take an entire community. I actually issued a letter today. I won't get into the nuanced details, but asking the governor and the mayor and the bureaucratic agencies to make sure that they do things like relieve hauling route restrictions for debris, and reducing fees, and making sure that people can rebuild back the same size houses that they had. There's so much bureaucracy that has to be removed so that we can get back to business.
Well, so Billy, if you want a number, I would say there's like 1,200 structures, and you average those out for the residential structures at maybe 5 to 6 million. So I don't know what that is, 5.5 billion or something, just in the residential for the Palisades. The estimates have gotten over 100 billion. I'm not sure how they're calculating that, but I would say just in residential reconstruction, just in the Palisades, 5+ billion.
And with these communities, you've got to build the infrastructure first. Probably you got to make sure the water works. You got to make sure that there's schools, and that there's your basic functions before you start popping up beautiful houses. Because even the people whose houses are totally spared, those people, like, it's not worth much. Like, no one's going to come in and live next to you at this point. So, I mean, it's just a good 7. What do you think? 5-7 years to rebuild?
I think 5 to 7. I'd say it's reasonable to say 5 to 7 years. I mean, if we can do some of the things that I've suggested, maybe it's 4 to 6 years, maybe even 3 to 5 at best. But right now, like you said, I mean, it's Chernobyl out there. I mean, nobody wants to be living in the Palisades. If your house is still standing, you don't even want to live there. And you're dealing with, I mean, I can't even imagine the amount of construction that you're going to have. Imagine, I can't even sleep when I have, one house on my street doing construction. I can't even imagine if 19 houses were doing construction on my street.
No kidding. Brothers Oppenheim, Selling Sunset, huge, successful show. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care, bud.
Thanks for speaking up on that issue, which is important. It's like, the Governor Newsom has already said, look, we're going to suspend all kinds of different regulatory hoops that are normally in place when you're trying to build and all that, which proves you can suspend those regulatory hoops even in good times. Like, make life easier for people. And oftentimes, like, Los Angeles just gets caught up in all this regulatory crap. It's all just red tape stuff that they court. Just because the fact that you're doing it now means you could have done it before. Just make life easy for people, for the love of God. So we've been all watching football to get away from everything, right? To just take a moment. We had the right in the middle of all this, we got the college football playoffs. ESPN's Molly McGrath. I love Molly McGrath. She is fantastic on the sideline. She's getting a lot of flack for her interview with Notre Dame's head coach Marcus Freeman. We'll break it down. This is Hot Mics with Billy Bush, presented by LA Golf. We're going to take a break for just 60 seconds for our TuneIn audience. Hot Mics with Billy Bush, brought to you by LA Golf. Upgrade your game. Take your golf experience to the next level at lagolf.com. And for all the sports fans out there, don't miss a beat with TuneIn Premium. Unlock access to the biggest college football and basketball games, every NHL game with no blackouts, and commercial-free ESPN radio to keep you up to date on all the breaking news around the sports world. Plus, enjoy over 300 commercial-free music stations to suit every mood or activity, whether you're into today's hits, classic rock, smooth jazz, country roads, or anything in between. There's even over 100 mood stations to help you unwind and chill out. Stay informed with commercial-free CNN, Fox News Radio, MSNBC, and more with fewer ads and no interruptions. Tune in to 100,000 global radio stations and podcasts and get breaking news and sports talk anytime, anywhere. Go to tunein.com/premium and sign up today to unlock it all. So welcome back to Hot Mics with Billy Bush, brought to you by LA Golf. You can listen exclusively on TuneIn, which is for audio. We've also, we're at Hot Mics with Billy Bush on YouTube. If you're watching, hop in the chat. Anything you want to say anytime, even if it's not nice. Well, I'll probably go to it. You know what I did for the first time the other day? It's just like, I've been out there, trying to communicate this story of the fires with people and talking to. I never comment to negative people, but some guy hopped in there. I can't remember what his name. I blocked him afterwards, but not before telling him where to stick it. Right with this, I just, you know what? I just had to do it. You ever done that? Where you tell people to go, where the sun don't shine? Okay, so ESPN sideline reporter Molly McGrath. I like her, but ESPN and Molly specifically are being criticized for focusing on race during the post-game interview with Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman after they won. The Fighting Irish had a nice victory, semifinal win over Penn State to advance to the championship game, which is coming up a week from today. They're going to play Ohio State. Here's the interview in question.
You are the first black head coach to go to a national championship game in college football.
This old thing again.
Just
but watch the way Marcus
response
handles this.
Alone, how much does this mean to you?
I've said this before. I don't ever want to take attention away from the team. It is an honor, and I hope all coaches, minorities, black, Asian, white, it doesn't matter, great people continue to get opportunities to lead young men like this.
Look at the answer. The crowd gets behind him.
But this ain't about
it's
me.
not about
this
me.
is about us. And we're going to celebrate what we've done because it's something special.
I don't know. I mean, I guess there's some people that are like, yeah, no, it means a lot to me to be. I like that. I want to be the first black coach to college football coach to go to this national championship game. That's why I'm here. I'm representing in that way. And then there's the people who say, like, stop putting us in compartments. Too many people want to keep us apart by putting us in our boxes. And this is where this is where you live. This is who you are. You're over here, okay? You're going to be, And I think Marcus handled that beautifully. I think he's like, what are you talking about? Well, because we are in an era, there's a lot of black coaches in football, and the fact that, I think we're in such a place that the first African-American head coach to go to a college football national championship game, that it's the first, was lost on everyone. I didn't know that. I assumed maybe it could have happened before. That's how much progress I think has been made. But anyway, there's always someone at ESPN or someone in television, some sort of network is like, ask this. I'm coming from the entertainment world. The entertainment world loves anything but the first, Asian American female under 40 to ever win a so-and-so. And I'm just like, okay, how about I just say her name? And I don't know if I need to do that. But anyway, people feel differently about it. I don't know. I don't think Molly McGrath deserves any kind of heat. I think whoever gave her the question should have asked her how she felt about it before she did it. Maybe, who knows? But I like her a lot. So anyway, It blows over in 2 seconds. Coming up, our first ever Hot Mics Hot Takes. We're just going to get through a couple of things that are out there and talk about them. I mean, Rachel Maddow, who, by the way, was making $30 million working at MSNBC 1 day a week. 1 day a week for 30. TV, how do you have that kind of money? I was in TV. $30 million a year for 1 day a week. Guess what Rachel's going to do? She's going to stretch out all of her muscles now. This is it. She's 5 days a week. She's going to work 5 days a week. I hope they're not paying her $150. I hope they're not giving her. They're not. That would be too much. 5 days a week. Can she save MSNBC? And also, there's a take on Brian Williams. A little late to the game. I'll explain what we're talking about. Hot Mics with Billy Bush is presented by LA Golf. We're back in just 60 seconds. Quick tune-in
Hot Mics
break.
with Billy Bush, sponsored by LA Golf. Take your swing to the next level with LA Golf's cutting-edge technology. Visit lagolf.com and upgrade your game. And for all you sports fanatics, go big with TuneIn Premium and unlock the biggest college football and basketball games, every NHL game with no blackouts, and commercial-free ESPN radio. Stay in the game all year long with TuneIn Premium. Plus, premium users can enjoy over 300 commercial-free music stations, from today's hits to smooth jazz, classic rock, country roads, and everything in between. Hear all your favorite stations and more, all in one place, and keep music flowing. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news, TuneIn has got you covered. Listen to your favorite news stations like CNN, Fox News Radio, MSNBC, and more, all with fewer ads so you can get back to what's important. Premium listeners can listen to over 100,000 global stations and podcasts on TuneIn, so you can stay connected with breaking news, sports talk, and top music anytime, anywhere. Unlock all of it by visiting tunein.com/premium and sign up today.
Well, welcome back to Hot Mics with Billy Bush, presented by LA Golf. We're live on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. You can listen live exclusively on TuneIn every Monday and Wednesday. I can't wait to tell you why we're on TuneIn and how we got to TuneIn. I love you, TuneIn, but the way we got on was a cold call. I can't wait to tell you about that. But right now, look, our Hot Mics are going to turn over to some hot takes. My executive producer here, Rob Silverstein, who I've worked with for, oh my God, since, 2001, so that's 24 years. There's Rob. Rob, what are the takes?
Well, Bill, you kind of gave it away in the tease because this is information that just came in recently, but Rachel Maddow, as you said, will host her show 5 days a week for the first 100 days of Trump's presidency. Does that have
just for 100 days?
Just for 100 days, Bill.
Oh, she's going to be exhausted after 100 days of working nine, it's 1 hour, by the way, not 9 to 5.
And we know that MSNBC and CNN have taken ratings tumbles, all right? What do you think this is going to do for MSNBC?
Nothing. I like what they're doing. I think they went to Rachel Maddow and said, look, you're a big performer for us. We need you to work. To actually work, and so she's going to go to work. I think MSNBC's got a huge hole to dig out of. They've spent a lot of time hating Donald Trump and telling people to hate Donald Trump and presenting reason after reason and blowing the whistle on Donald Trump all the time. Well, Donald Trump just won the election. He won the Electoral College. He won the popular vote. There seems to be a mandate to give Donald Trump a chance. So much of a mandate, it's almost like a blind mandate. Like Kash Patel is Trump's guy for the FBI. Like, he's a fairly extreme guy. Christopher Wray did a beautiful interview on 60 Minutes just last night. People are passing it around. It's like a really intelligent guy. Donald's got a long, long leash. So MSNBC is going to have to sit in the doghouse and be good for a little while. And maybe they'll get their chance to complain again or rise again. But for now, they're silent.
Bill, didn't Rachel work with Tucker?
Oh, the favorite, Tucker Carlson, with whom I did, an interview last week that 12 million people have seen just on his X account alone. Of course, Elon Musk retweeted it, and that went to another level. But we were sharing war stories, and he was fired at MS. Tucker worked at every one of the cable channels, not just Fox News, but he worked at CNN, Crossfire, and then he had this show Tucker on MSNBC. And the president of MSNBC, Phil Griffin, fired him because And what he said to him, by the way, Willie Geist from the Today Show was Tucker's executive producer. And then they did a segment once a week with Rachel Maddow. Or once, maybe 3 times a week, just a segment. She was on 3 times. Phil Griffin came and said, Tucker, the audience doesn't like you. We've tried to do things more in the middle and even like get a couple of voices on the right so we could be all things to all people, and they're not having it. But they do like Rachel. So out went Tucker, and Rachel got the show. But a funny thing is, they've remained great friends, and both of them might be angry for me telling you this. But they still are very good friends. And you know what they bond over, Rachel Maddow and Tucker Carlson? Fly fishing. They're both fly fisher people. Yeah, they went on a trip. I believe they took a trip to like Ligonier, Pennsylvania or something and went fly fishing together.
Bill, I don't think our next guy's a fly fisher, but maybe.
Who?
Brian Williams, former MSNBC personality, claims it was crushing to watch journalists try to cover visibly struggling Joe Biden, calling it a gross disservice to viewers. Billy, is he a little late in the game to be weighing in now?
You said it. It doesn't take a lot of courage to say in January of 2025 that the media is guilty of somehow, trying to, accepting and promulgating this idea that Joe Biden is healthy, not only healthy, but sharp as a tack behind closed doors and in meetings and all this stuff. Calling that out in June 2024, April, May 2024, that's courageous. Now, in January of 25, not so much. I like Brian. I wish Brian reached out to me when I got canned, because I reached out to him when he got canned. But, they brought him back. NBC News brought him back. Andy Lack, who was the chairman of NBC at the time, brought Brian back and gave him the 11th hour, which actually, was a good show for him. I thought
worked.
Yeah, it worked, and I think it fit him more of who he is, because
he does Amazon stuff. He did the Amazon special during the election.
Yeah, I did. I thought that was shot in a weird way, and I'm not sure that was a great success.
More now. I think that was the first. I think they're going to delve into it more.
Yeah, well, look, Brian's, he had a terrible scandal, and he recovered from it. They gave him another shot. He came back, and the fact that Amazon would put him out there as the lead guy, because Amazon's going for big names, right? When they want to get into football, they get Al Michaels to be the play-by-play guy. You get the OG. And you want to get into news and live news events, you get Brian Williams. So this is great for Brian. He's probably going to make some money again.
All right.
By the way, a volunteer firefighter, Brian Williams, from New Jersey. So.
All right, Bill, let's move to sports.
Yeah.
All right.
Sports.
Tom Brady. We know he's part owner of the Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
There are reports he wants to bring his old coach, Bill Belichick, to coach the Raiders. Now, it's not going to happen, okay? He coaches North Carolina Tar Heels now. But, Bill, if you were him, would you give it the old college try or go back to the big leagues? And that is an opening with the Dallas Cowboys, which you're going to get into in a minute.
Well, I don't believe it. I don't actually believe that Tom Brady wants Bill Belichick to be the coach of the Raiders. But if he does, it's because when you're a quarterback, you report to the head coach. The head coach reports to the owner, right? The general manager, and if you want, and the owner. So for Tom, it might be nice to just lord over Bill Belichick for a little while. But in the end of the day, he also knows Bill Belichick isn't reporting to anybody. He's not going to kiss the owner's ass, and he's not going to kiss the GM's. That ain't happening. And it also ain't happening that he's got a beautiful deal at UNC, and but he will be back in the pros, I hope, before he gets too old. He's got a 5-year deal.
Bill, he's a little
73.
Yeah, he can get out of this contract. There is a way of getting out of the.
Rob, I don't know what you take to keep young, like ginseng or whatever it is that you. But I know what Bill takes.
I have a birthday tomorrow.
I know what Bill takes. Okay, to stay young. That is called a 24-year-old lover. Okay, so Bill, I think will be kicking for some time.
But Bill, so I mentioned the Cowboys. They fired their coach today.
Yeah, so Jerry Jones got rid of Mike McCarthy in Dallas. We've got a choice. By the way, Jerry Jones recently did a hell of a job on Landman. Who's a Landman fan with Billy Bob Thornton? Oh my God, Jerry Jones was crying in a scene. It was incredibly emotional, had me tearing up. But he did a press conference to get rid of Mike McCarthy, and we got a choice. The real press conference or the AI press conference, and I always choose the AI press conference.
I fired Mike McCarthy because he looks like a fucking pork chop. And I hate that big-ass play call sheet he holds during games. We all know it's a Perkins menu. I'm not even sure we need a coach. Hell, maybe we already have a coach in mind. Maybe he's sitting right in front of you, half drunk on Johnny Walker Blue with only an Egg McMuffin in his belly and a pocket full of dinger.
These AI press conferences are fantastic.
All right, Bill. You have
Maybe that's what he was
anything
thinking.
else to say about Jerry Jones?
No, I love Jerry. I got to say, he's anyone who covers sports, anyone who covers the NFL, they all love Jerry Jones. They really do.
Bill, he's not a good general manager.
Jerry?
Yeah, he's just not.
Stay out of personnel. No, but you know what? It's his thing.
It's his team. He can do what he wants, but they haven't won anything in years.
He'd be good. He'd be right to have Belichick if he could get him.
Yeah.
But Mike McCarthy's already talking to 2 other teams. He'll be fine, too. So I don't think he was the problem.
All right, Bill. Here's another one. Carrie Underwood will sing America the Beautiful at the inauguration. Is this a bold move for her? Or she definitely wouldn't have done it like 8 years ago.
No, she would not have done it in 2016. I remember talking to 50 Cent, and he told me Trump asked me to perform at the inauguration. I said, how much? He said, $500,000. And then I said, double it. And he doubled it to $1 million, according to 50. And 50 still said no. Now, 50 doesn't care about anything. He'll do whatever he wants. So I assume Carrie Underwood's also getting paid to do it. But I think it tells you what a different ball game. Trump 2016 versus, or I guess you'd say 2017 versus Trump 2025. It's totally different. I think people have, he's got way more goodwill. The fact that Carrie Underwood is doing it, she's like, why? I mean, there's a lot of people in the red states in the South, and, you know, I'm from Tennessee and Oklahoma. But no, I don't think it's as big a risk today, but still, you know, maybe a couple of feathers ruffled, but good for her. By the way, you're not singing for Trump. You're singing for America. And that we're all Americans.
Bill, do you think Lee Greenwood will be there? Or?
Lee Greenwood is always there. He's there. Trump's got he's got some go-to guys and some go-to songs. All I know is this. How many people will be standing up doing the Trump dance?
Bill, the Village people, they have to be there.
They got to be there. Everybody needs to stand up in their seats. They got to do the dance. I love the video with little Arch Manning from Texas doing the dance. The UFC guys are doing the dance. It's unbelievable, man. All right, coming up, our Hot Mic Heroes of the Day. Just looking back on the last 5 days here in Los Angeles, and I'll tell you what, some really great people have stepped up and shown their character. Hot Mics with Billy Bush, presented by LA Golf. It's back in just 60 seconds here on TuneIn. Hot Mics with Billy Bush, brought to you by LA Golf. Upgrade your game. Take your golf experience to the next level at lagolf.com. And for all the sports fans out there, don't miss a beat with TuneIn Premium. Unlock access to the biggest college football and basketball games, every NHL game with no blackouts, and commercial-free ESPN radio to keep you up to date on all the breaking news around the sports world. Plus, enjoy over 300 commercial-free music stations to suit every mood or activity, whether you're into today's hits, classic rock, smooth jazz, country roads, or anything in between. There's even over 100 mood stations to help you unwind and chill out. Stay informed with commercial-free CNN, Fox News Radio, MSNBC, and more with fewer ads and no interruptions. Tune in to 100,000 global radio stations and podcasts and get breaking news and sports talk anytime, anywhere. Go to tunein.com/premium and sign up today to unlock it all. Welcome back to Hot Mics with Billy Bush, brought to you by LA Golf. You can listen exclusively Mondays and Wednesdays, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern on TuneIn. Just ask your Alexa or your Google device to play Hot Mics with Billy Bush on TuneIn to listen. Tragic events reveal people's character, good and bad. Guys dressed as firefighters, like getting into neighborhoods to loot. Can you imagine Worse people than that. Arsonists. Talked to a lady who runs a homeowners association in Brentwood, and one of her constituents, neighbors, reported seeing guys carrying paint thinner cans and putting them, trying to put paint thinner on trees. So many people have called in extra security because the power has gone out in different places. Just conspiracy theorists in general. You know, it's just not a time for it, but they can't help themselves. Here's the people that are, I'm sorry, but flying drones. Like, who are these people? They're drones to fly so they can get their own footage, you know, of the devastation, and they're interfering with helicopters carrying water or large aerial tankers. Come on, man. That is a band of nerds that can just got to get it under control. Flying your own drone? Come on. It's just like, I mean, one of them, it took down one of the little planes that hit a drone. It's unbelievable. Obviously, we talked earlier about the real estate gougers, the scam artists. I mean, you can't include like insurance companies in a blanket type of way. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of outrageous things. There's a lot of very sad stories. There's a woman that was a teacher at the school my daughters went to, all of them. Just a teacher, lived in an apartment on the outskirts of the Palisades, not fancy. And a month before this fire was dropped for fire insurance. Lost everything. Is going to get nothing for this apartment she's owned for 20 years. She is a teacher. There will be a lot of examples of, you know, if you had the right insurance, some people will be very happy, and a lot of people are going to be destroyed and very, very upset. The state of California can also do a lot better as far as working with insurance companies because, you know, a lot of them are forbidden to raise premiums in any way, even though there's such high risk in Los Angeles, and there is. Living in Los Angeles, this is a natural habitat for fire. That is a fact. You know, there have been 2 major fires a decade for the entire history since the, you know, late 1800s. Speaking of insurance companies, like State Farm commercials all throughout football games over the weekend. You know, it's like, oh, I don't know. I might want to like change the message. I don't want to see Jake, who's a terrible actor. Jake from State Farm, terrible actor. Every athlete is a terrible actor too. Like, while we're here. Patrick Mahomes is not a good actor. Kelsey, not a good actor. The only good actor is Peyton Manning, and he is a great actor. He does every commercial he does is very good. When he's the artist, when he's doing the debating Manning, you know, with the little girl, everything he does is good. But then again, there's the good, right? Character is revealed in tragic events, and the good far outweighs the bad. There's going to be a lot of people griping. People share negative stories more than they share positive stories. But look at that, the VLAT right there, dropping that flame retardant right along the hillside there, and I think probably up on the Mulholland Fire Road. I can say personally from my own experience, having lived in the hills of the San Fernando Valley, I watched on the edge of my seat Friday night as these helicopters were doing these missions, one after the other, 10 of them, whipping down to the Encino Reservoir, sucking water out of the reservoir and popping right back up about 12 seconds later and dropping water on the flames of the Palisades fire, which had gone up Mandeville Canyon to the top of this thing called the Mulholland Fire Road. It's this top of the mountain that separates Brentwood and Palisades and the west side of Los Angeles to the San Fernando Valley. And had that fire hopped over that fire road and come down into the San Fernando Valley, we would have had a whole different level of destruction, even worse because that's just, it's so densely populated with families. My assistant Vinny is in here. Vinny's the greatest. Vinny's watching YouTube and looking at, what are you smiling over there?
I'm always smiling.
Are people commenting?
Yeah, we have a comment from Elizabeth Kelly. She says, what are the scenarios for redevelopment? Will many people sell to developers because they can't afford to come back?
Yeah, in certain areas, I think developers are gonna pitch. One of the big outrages people were upset about is like in the Palisades, the Pacific Palisades, which is right on the bluffs. There's this place called the Palisades Bluffs. It like just overlooks the Pacific Ocean. It is simply the most gorgeous thing. Gavin Newsom came out and spoke. They said, we hear that Gavin Newsom is trying to basically, lift regulation to build apartment buildings and get rid of the homes, like make it harder to rebuild single-family homes and try to get a bunch of, community housing. And that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. The guy that runs Palisades Village is Rick Caruso, who is the biggest real estate developer. And he almost, by the way, it is I believe that he will not want to recall Karen Bass as mayor. He ran against her last time. He's not going to want to be mayor. I think he's going to run for governor. I think he's going to run for governor of California against Kamala Harris. Kamala will run against Rick Caruso, and I believe Rick will win that, given everything, unless people have very, very bad short-term memory problems. Kristen Crowley, the fire chief, have you been watching her? Interesting. She really suffered in the beginning. People were pounding on her for everything, the fact of her sexual orientation, to her, we're more concerned with DEI and diversity, equity, inclusion, and than actually putting out fires. She decided, I'm not going down with this ship. I'm taking transparency. I'm going to get honest with people. Kristen Crowley came out and said, they cut my budget by $17 million. $1.3 billion spent on homelessness in Los Angeles with nothing to show for it, and $850 million, a full $500 million less on the fire department. And she came out and said it. And it almost got her, speaking of fire, fired. But I like I like the way she's turned around. She's sort of gotten things together. Rocky start, but she seems to be doing well. The fires seem to be at bay. There's so much devastation that is just unfathomable, so much of it unforgivable. And all of that people will get to. But that's it.
Bill, but the next 2 days could be telling with the winds coming in.
Well, of course, as you've heard, yeah, we had over the weekend, the last 2 days have been quiet. Saturday, Sunday, very quiet. The winds were low, but the Santa Ana winds are really nasty, and there's been no rain this winter. We always count on rain in December, heavy rain, and there's been none. So the Santa Ana winds are still here. We'll see what happens. This is their biggest challenge these next couple of days, up till Wednesday. Look, thank you for joining us for the premiere of Hot Mics with Billy Bush, presented by LA Golf. Take your swing to the next level with golf's cutting-edge technology. Visit lagolf.com. Upgrade your game. I'm going to say this. My friend Reed Dickens is the CEO of LA Golf. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding. I spray my drive like crazy to the right. I hook it to the left. It doesn't remove error because there's no golf club that can do that yet, but it cuts down on error. Your power slice is now just a fade into the rough. That terrible hook that went out of bounds, it's still playable. You're hitting your second shot with this driver from LA Golf, and the putters you're not going to believe. It's really the next biggest thing in golf. Look, you can always listen to us exclusively on TuneIn. We thank our partners at TuneIn. And you can ask Alexa or your Google device to play Hot Mics with Billy Bush on TuneIn. And watch us always on YouTube at Hot Mics with Billy Bush. Wow. What an opening day. Nothing worked. We had technical difficulties out the ass. But when you've been doing this as long as I have and as long as these guys have in there, it is what it is. In the end, it all works out, and who gives a flying? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot bigger things to worry about in this world. To everybody fighting these fires in Los Angeles, we love you so much, and we thank you. Thank you very much. We'll see you Wednesday. Megyn Kelly is going to be in the house right after Pete Hegseth from Fox and Friends weekend version has his Senate hearing to be defense secretary. Bye-bye.